Hello everyone, it's Paola and welcome to a new Theater Thursday video. I had very big plans for this week's Theater Thursday video, but then I just lost control of the week. So I decided to change it up and do the musical theater tag. I saw Carrie Hope Fletcher do these the other day. So let's get started. Number 1, the show you cried the most to. This has to be the last 5 years. I remember I was so emotional just on the way to the theater. It was my uncle's graduation present to me, so I was super over the moon excited to go there. And then once I was in the audience, I just could not stop crying from the minute that Still Hurting began to the moment where Goodbye Until Tomorrow ended. I was just a mess. Question number 2 is the show you enjoyed the most. I would have to say Lion King, because even though I am 100% against the Broadway edition of a Disney movie because it's literally the same thing but inaccessible, I was just not expecting it. I was not really in the mood to go to see The Lion King. My mom's boyfriend at the time was just like, I got tickets, let's go. And it was very spontaneous and we were like, what the hell? Because that musical was super expensive. I think it was 3,000 pesos per ticket. That's $100 per ticket, and in Mexico that's a whole lot of money. And then the minute the lights were on and the animals or the people dressed as animals were going through and everything was just so atmospheric, and I did not even know what was happening. I felt like I was there in the African savannah watching it all happen around me. It was beautiful. Number 3 is an underwhelming musical. I will say I watched a bootleg or half of a bootleg for Beetlejuice, and I was like, is this what people are crying about because it's leaving Broadway? It's just the humor there was so blah, and I didn't love Sofia Ann Caruso's voice, which I know is controversial, but it was just not my cup of tea. And I think a lot of it had to do with the amount of expectations that I had for it, because people loved it, so I was expecting it to be my new favorite musical, and it just wasn't. Number 4 is what is the musical you've watched the most. I think this one refers to the show you've seen the most on stage. I just don't have that kind of privilege, so I'll just go with the movie musical that I've seen the most, and that is Mamma Mia. I have no regrets. I love that musical so much. It makes me feel like everything is going to be okay, and I love it. I just enjoy the hell out of it. Number 5 is a musical where you laughed the most. Probably Mean Girls. This is one that I've seen also a bootleg of only, and I really enjoyed it. Again, I don't love that it's exactly the same as the movie, but I think a lot of the humor was there. A lot of what made the movie successful is there in the musical as well, and I I loved it. Question number 6 is what is a musical that you've only seen the bootleg of? So many, but the one that I wish I could go see live, that it just hasn't happened and will probably never happen unless by some miracle they bring it to Mexico. I don't know, but it would be Six. I love Six. I love that it's just very ingenious, and I love that it tells a lot of stories within a short amount of time. Question number 7 is a show you would like to see reopen. So I'm assuming a revival. I don't know. I do remember that I didn't catch First Date when it was in Mexico, the Mexican production of First Date, but I missed it by a year, because a year after the show ended in Mexico was when I discovered that it was a thing, and that it was a thing also in Mexico, and I would really like to see it. Question number 8 is a show you would like to perform in. Well, I was almost in Rent. So I would like to do that, just, you know, to see what it's like. Question number 9 is, what is a show that you thought the movie musical was better than the stage show? Well, I've never seen Mamma Mia on stage, and I will never see Mamma Mia on stage because I believe the movie musical is way too good. So me going to see Mamma Mia on stage would be very unfair to the people who are doing it, because I would be very critical of it. I don't know in terms of what, but I just think that the movie is very, very impressive in terms of like the setting, and the acting is incredible. The only thing that I don't like about the movie is Pierce Brosnan, for obvious reasons. He cannot sing to save his life. Question number 10 is, what is a musical that you enjoy most in the theater? I hate to repeat answers, but I think it's The Last 5 Years. I love the movie. The movie is actually what introduced me to The Last 5 Years. But seeing it on stage, being sung in Spanish, and how intimate the space was, cannot compare. Number 11 is, what is a stage show that should be made into a movie? Probably Fun Home. I don't know if it would work as a movie because it's not, you know, in chronological order, but I just think that theater and that direction was very, very intentional. So having to transform it into a movie, I think it would be very hard, but I think it would be really, really worth it. That show made me cry, it made me laugh, it made me, you know, sing. It was too good. Too good. Number 12 is the show where you got the best seats. I think my answer would be Rent, because when I went to see Grease, I was way too far back. Same with Fiddler on the Roof and Mary Poppins. And when we went to watch Lion King, we were very, very close to the stage. But Rent, I think our seats were perfect. We were far enough apart where we could appreciate everyone on stage. Number 13 is, what is the musical that was best cast? I don't know. Like, I'm not very particular about the casting in any of the musicals that I've seen. I think that has a lot to do with the greatness of the actors, but I don't think anything was very impressive. I'll tell you what the worst cast was, and it was Rent 2016, because it was very, very white. It was a very talented cast, but it was a very white Mexican and Argentinian cast, and I do not appreciate that. Number 14, a musical that you'd like to rewatch. I have no idea. Number 15 is, what is a show that you were planning to watch but coronavirus made it cancel? I had no musicals that I was planning to see because my budget did not allow it, but I really wanted to catch some like discount tickets for Chicago. I've seen the movie and I think the movie is great. Finally, question number 16 is, what is the first show that you want to watch after coronavirus? Again, probably Chicago. I don't know if I'll be able to. I don't even know if, you know, they are still good to go after all of this is over. But probably that one. And actually on September 5th, they're doing like a live stream of Mentiras, which is a Mexican musical set in the 80s featuring 80s music. It's a jukebox musical and I'm very excited to watch that. Tickets were super cheap. They were 200 pesos, which is like less than $10, I think. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below some of your answers, all of your answers. Let me know all the things down below. I will leave links to my social media and my blogs, all of it down below. And if you haven't already and you'd like to, go ahead and hit subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!